lovely to meet you. I'm Susie.
Excellent, George. So I know basically nothing about drag.
I work in more or less like the alternative industry. I usually do a lot more like alt shows and stuff and grassroots events.
Where did this start?
I mean, I started in lockdown. I was just at home bored. I don't know, I always watched shows like Dragula and stuff. Like I've always been more into like the alternative side of drag, more or less than the mainstream kind. So I always knew I didn't necessarily want to be like what people mainly see. I do at one point want to, really make this my own career and stuff, but it is just one of those things of having those right connections. It's sort of like, I guess, the film industry as well, if you think of it in that way.
Yeah.
If you have those connections and then also just making sure that you've got the right attitude and don't have like, you basically don't piss people off. I should say as well, it has been a while since I've actually glued down brows because I shaved mine off.
I mean, have you ever had points where like you've struggled for work?
In the drag scene, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, especially that's one thing about the drag scene that you only really learn when you get into it is that it is very competitive.
So if I was looking from square one to get into the drag industry, where on earth would I start?
So you can start pretty much in a lot of different ways. So a lot of people started just by doing like online bedroom looks. That's how I started, obviously. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. There's also a lot of like competition.
Have you had points where you're like, oh, okay, this is not gonna work? Or...
I definitely had like a couple of points. Like, I think especially when I was so new to drag, I was like, oh, I don't have the vision yet. I feel like I'm not there. Like, I'm getting stressed and stuff, but it's just all about having to really push through it.
So how do you find it with social media stuff? How do you use that to benefit you?
I use it, so with social media, I think it's a double-edged sword, pretty much.
Do you have much experience with the makeup stuff prior to starting drag, or was that something
not at all. Yeah. I had no experience at all with makeup.
Did that take you long to develop?
It took me a while to like get to the point I am now. I'd say I'm a lot more confident with my face. Like, no drag artist has the same definition of drag at the end of the day. I remember the first time someone painted my face.
Yeah, I assume you get used to it.
Yeah. For me, it always feels weird to have someone painting a different face onto this one because I'm so used to how it looks. So, what name have you landed on?
I'm really trying to avoid you.
There are people who have like really like dumb like drag names that just work perfectly. I pretty much always started off with like a white base because I knew that's what I wanted my character to sort of look like.
Yeah.
So I wanted them to be very like dark and gothic and like a little bit weird and scary. Yeah, so I definitely started questioning my gender as well a lot when it came to like lockdown. I'd always like kind of questioned if I was like who I was because I didn't necessarily feel like I fit into like the category of like being a male.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all sort of like to thank for my drag character who kind of was able to make me realise who I was a little bit more.
My name's Claudia Twinkleman. I've been in the drag industry for about 33 minutes. And I love it.
I want it.
In audio. It's very difficult and highly challenging on the body, especially with one as robotic as mine. Please take it off.